desert, and then he was on fire. He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up, like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. But he'd learn another true thing. Zenobia still had feelings for him.
Huh. Wait, so he was frozen, then burned? Okay. Well, at least we have all the truths.
Faster than before, and he fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion, and he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
Oh. So what's the key icon? Is that the... Maybe I
Renato finally realized that Lapino was a traitor to the cause, and maybe Renato could use that somehow.
No.
Renato couldn't quite put his paw on when he'd realized Lapino was working for the Empire. He'd never exactly seen Lapino sending coded messages to the palace, but he was sure. The rabbit had been on too many disasters Miss Survivor, or where he accidentally missed getting on the boat that went down to the abyss in flames. If Renato could prevent Lapino from getting back to the fleet with all the intelligence he'd probably gathered, it might be worth the trip. How had they come to this? They'd been on so many adventures together. Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
Don't really need the core, but I'll still take it. Health? I mean,
This chest smelled kind of...
I don't need cores. Pretty full of those.
he'd always felt that the rabbit resented him. Peppino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper. Ooh, was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
Well, you guys have had it?
Kind of like attack speed. Maybe I should just use the fire.
So that's what they meant by a firewall. What unlocks a firewall?
Okay. I really don't need to head to hidden stuff because I already got all the items I need, I guess. But never hurts to check.
He could learn new skills. If only he'd take the time to figure out which. This chest was really horrible. Get it?
Wait, so which way am I supposed to go? I don't know where I'm supposed to be going.
I'll just have a dash, thought Renato.
Over here. Oh, just another freaking chest. Oh, I'm dumb.
Right, who wants to die first?
Ravens were landing everywhere from dropships. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, the Rabbit would give the Empire all the intelligence he'd been stealing from the Rebellion, and they'd probably give him a medal. He'd have to be very careful about how he played Lupino. At the slightest hint of danger, the Mad Rabbit would take off like a rabbit.
Dear Zenobia, how are you enjoying the academy? New friends must already be flocking around you. No doubt here in the palace, things are the same. Place of things the same. I have much time to dedicate my special hobby. I've been collaborating with Professor Calaveras and his team of experts to investigate the nature of the islands. My gut is telling me that the islands are alive. I think they're all a will of their own. Do you hear me? Do you hear me, daughter? Our world could be more than floating masses of rock and water. Professor Calaveras and his boys have made measurements. The islands are drifting, surrounded by endless sky. It is difficult to notice, but through careful measurements of the wind over long periods of time, they are certain the islands are moving westward. But where to? It may take centuries, millennia, to reach the destination. I have this strange idea. What if the islands are some sort of herd, and they are deliberately searching for another herd of islands? Can you imagine new islands with their own inhabitants? The thoughts of that may not be alone. If only I could live it long enough to witness the event with love, Father. Well, we're just not really, we don't live in an island, we live in our own kind of land mass thing.
Ravens didn't smell any better dead than I'd have thought. Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally reached Lupino. The Rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the Rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The Ravens are coming. Now, I got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Renato wanted to clap shackles on the Rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky Ripper was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Isengrim III